Hello, so it's been a long time actually since I posted to this channel. Most of you will know, if you've seen this channel before, content really all about the C Evolution, which has been my my go-to scooter on a day-to-day basis for a long time actually. One of the things that I haven't necessarily shown is some of the other bikes that I've got as well. And I'm hoping to maybe just end up posting a little bit more content on just some of the other things that I do, in the hope that that kind of helps other people as well. And one of the bikes I wanted to cover today, and particularly some of the side cases that I've got for them, is my BMW GS Adventure. So here it is. This is my BMW R1250 HP High Performance Rally Edition, and basically I love the color combination of this. This is one of the key reasons why I chose it. I bought it second-hand from BMW Cotswold. Really great actually, and it came with not these panniers, which we'll talk about in a second, but the metal aluminium panniers. They're silver ones with black stickers. One of the things I'm super happy about is actually that it came with a set of Denalis as well, which is brilliant. And basically what I wanted to cover today was just for anybody wanting to go for soft panniers. I've done a lot of research into it. There's obviously some really great brands like Lone Rider, Moscow Moto, but you do end up paying an awful lot more money for some of those kind of kits as well. And yeah, you know, I think £700 upwards is not necessarily all that uncommon. And so I started to look around a little bit just for potential alternatives, and particularly ones that would be able to work with the existing rack that the GS Adventure comes with as well. So that's where I ended up finding a company called Lomo, which I really like. And I think their background is very much about bags for water sports. And so the bag that you see here is very much with that kind of technology. As you can see, it's pretty much a dry bag kind of technology, and you'll see it from a lot of their other stuff. They're very good at that. So why a set of soft panniers, even though I've got a set of hard panniers? A couple of reasons. The hard panniers are really big, and I've just come back from a tour going to France, Switzerland, Italy, the Dolomites and the Alps. And having really wide panniers can be a little bit more tricky. I've also felt like, you know, if I ever did drop the bike, which funnily enough I did end up doing right in Monaco, on the front of just by the harbour, it is helpful having something that's a little bit softer as well. And personally, I just think the bike looks a little bit better with soft panniers as well. Just take you around a little bit, but you see just how it sits on the back as well, and it's just that little bit narrower than the set of aluminium panniers. Now that said, the Lomo panniers aren't necessarily perfect, and I've done a little bit of modification in order to try and make them really suitable for the GSA as best as possible. And what's been really cool about it is that the total all-in cost has been under £200. It's been about £170 in total, which is basically £70 for the Lomo bags itself. And one of the things that you may not see here very easily is this rack here at the moment, and that's actually an SW Motech rack, and the only reason I bought that was really primarily for this side, to help square off essentially this bit here, so that it wouldn't the bag wouldn't necessarily cave in at the top so much. It still does a little bit, but that's the main reason why. So this was around about £100 delivered, and I'll send a link through in the description just of where you can find that, but fairly easy to install. It does mean that if you wanted to put the aluminium panniers back on it, you do have to take these off first, but it does mean that this bag has a lot more mounting points that are a little higher here as well. I forget actually what the system is called, but the way that this bag can be mounted is using this kind of cross-stitched, I think it's called a molly system. Excuse me if that's not 100% correct, but it allows you to basically put things in there in between, and basically then tie them in any way you like. And as you can see here, I've tied them 2 at the bottom here and 2 at the top here, going through both the metal plate as well as the original rack itself. And the way that I've done that is actually using just Velcro. So you can see here, just I think it's 1-inch Velcro, and to be honest with you, more than anything, I found that to be really sturdy and effective. I've also used just slightly narrower stuff for things like here, for instance. So again, just a little bit of extra kind of yeah, ways to attach that. But this only costs a couple of quid off the likes of Amazon or eBay. Put a link on that in the description as well. And so that for me has been absolutely a brilliant setup. I've taken this down to Cornwall, as well as now through the whole of Europe, and it's absolutely perfect for what I want. Sorry, it might get a little bit noisy in a second. Cool, people have just walked past. And also worth mentioning, just the other fixing point is it's just a single strap over here, which is absolutely fine. You can see here, it's just tight enough to keep it straight here. Same for here. And I just put that under the seat essentially. Now, the bags themselves, off the top of my head, I might be wrong, I'll correct it if that's not the case, but I think they're 70 litres each, and it just allows for an absolute ton of space, which is great. That said, one thing I would say is that there are some modifications that I made, and some suggestions maybe for Lomo as well, that I would recommend if they do an iteration of this. So maybe just to show you, actually maybe just to start off here. So if I was giving some feedback to Lomo, I would probably say it might be worthwhile bringing this strap just a little bit lower, so that this can be mounted a little bit more flushly. On the one side you could say, like, well, you could put more stuff in there, but I think the reality is once you've actually twisted or turned the top of this bag 2 or 3 times, you're back down to this level anyway, and anything less than that, I think the majority of people just won't fill it that heavily and that highly. So I would probably bring this down, so that way you've got a really nice and even more snug fit over here. The other thing that I've done, so these straps here, you get a lot of room with that basically, but there is potentially a little bit too much, so either make them shorter, or what I've done is I've actually taken some of the 1 centimeter kind of size Velcro tape, twisted it inside out, and I've almost made this little band so that it's not flapping about whilst you're riding. And I've done that for basically all sides, so the top, the bottom, and on the other side as well. So you can see here, lots of really great space in here. And as we kind of look inside and open this up, so again, as I mentioned, it's been brilliant from a waterproof point of view. I've not driven through such torrential rain 2 weeks ago, last week even.
Jesus Christ. It is horrible. Oh my word. It's almost like tiny bits of hail. Ow! I can actually feel it.
But one of the things that it doesn't come with is a rigid kind of plastic holder. So you can see just how big that is actually. You can hold an awful lot of stuff in there. But the shape of it, it doesn't really hold its shape very easily. And so what I've done is I've bought bits of plastic, and probably should have a quick look, because it's called HDPE, so high density polyethylene polythene, I believe it is called, polythene. And I bought mine basically 1.5 mil thick. I'll send the link again, that was an eBay purchase, and I ended up cutting it, I think it was around about 15 centimeters wide. And what that does is, I'll probably see if I can put in the dimensions of the length as well, but it just gives me a little bit more, excuse me, rigidity here, so that when I drop my stuff and my bags in there, it stays wide enough, because otherwise this basically nicely kind of stops it from caving in too much, which makes it look less good in my view, but also like it just helps it keep its shape a little bit. So my ask of Lomo is, if you were going to make a second version of this, actually maybe consider yeah, just putting a liner in there so that you can make that a little bit more rigid and perfect for the GS series of BMW. So the only other thing I'd maybe say is that I think maybe just for Lomo as well. So whilst I bought an aftermarket SW Motech yeah, plate for this, they may wish to consider actually selling this one separately, because it's only really the right one that you have this basically this angle correction needed for. So actually I think if they just created something similar to SW Motech and a plate like that, because you don't actually need it on this side. I just ended up doing it just to make it symmetrical a little bit. But I think that these Lomo bags would sell an awful lot better to a lot of GS riders who would be, yeah, perhaps much more happy to spend under £200 for a set of really fantastic fantastic bags. Might have a look inside, but like, I mean, I've done a lot of miles. I've recently done a 3,000 mile trip with this, and they are looking really good still. I did check on them a couple of times, but absolutely no issues whatsoever. Personally, I prefer rolling them at least 3 times, sometimes 4, but 3 is absolutely fine. And yeah, like I said, just perfect for riding in the rain with. Took a knock as well, absolutely fine. And yeah, the only downside possibly is that they're obviously less secure. So what I do is, I've got 2 30-litre, what do you call them? They're the kinds of bags similar to this system. It is a dry bag, I guess, but it's an inner bag. And I basically have 2 of them, 1 for either side, and I dump almost everything in those 2 bags. So it's literally a case of pulling out 2 bags from either side at the end of the day, if you're at a hotel, for instance, and just leaving the bags on. From a security point of view, yeah, you could maybe take all of these off, but it's actually quite hard to get all of the Velcro kind of in the right place. So actually taking it off, because I don't know how easy that is to see, but I ended up putting a lot more on the inside of that as well. So that's a really poor explanation, but just down there, for instance. So actually taking this off does take a little bit of effort. So yeah, so there you've got it. My review of the Lomo bags. Really excellent bags. I think with a little bit of modification can be even better. And I think with the SW Motech adapter plates on it, absolutely perfect for GS riders. So with that in mind, I'll probably leave it. Hope that's been useful. If you want to see more of this kind of content, obviously a like and a subscribe would be amazing. And yeah, happy to hear any feedback as well. Thanks, bye.